What's going on, y'all? It's your boy So, in case you ain't know So, and welcome back to another dope episode of Sports with So. Coming to you live, y'all. This week, the Heat win 5 straight games, including 3 and counting on the road. The Panthers go full cardiac arrest as they go 4 straight wins, with earning them every step of the way. The Hurricanes put up a hell of a fight up in Tallahassee, but still come up short against FSU. And the Dolphins come back from the bye week to face a very motivated Raiders team. It's time to take a ride, y'all. Let's go. Yo, what up, my dog?
What's going on, So? It's good to see you, my boy.
It's good to see you, homie. It's good to be back here on Sports with So, dog. Got a lot of stuff that I want to talk about. Obviously, you know, we're going to touch on some sensitive topics. We're going to touch on some happy topics. And it's going to be a good episode to get some stuff off the chest. You know what I mean?
I think so. I think last week we were kind of down bad, you know, kind of having a rough go at it with our South Florida franchises. But tale of 2 weeks, you know what I'm saying? We got a different outcome this week, and I'm excited to get into it all.
It's wild how that shit works, man. Week to week, day to day, how sports go, man. And for us down here in South Florida, right, which is what we really care about, when we talk about a Jekyll and Hyde type of start to their season, you're talking about the Miami Heat. And these guys have, you know, kicked off 5 straight wins, dog, including 3 on the road, playing, tomorrow by the time you guys are hearing this in Charlotte, to make it 4 in a row on the road. It'll be a hell of a road trip to look back on, because when we talked about the Heat the last time, we knew that they were going to face a lot of road adversity, right? Like so many games on the road in November and early December. And I was like, damn, dog, like, how are these guys going to really make it out of it? And then when I saw the injury to Tyler Hero, I was like, oh shit, man, things are really going to go down south here for the Heat real quick. But the Heat, you know, to all their credit, and everybody who's currently in a jersey for them, they've been playing well, man, and really, you know, carrying the load, let's say. And we know that Tyler's going to be out for 4 to 5 weeks. Ankle injury wasn't nothing super serious where it was broken, but he is in a walking boot, so he's going to take a lot of time to get progressively out of that type of injury.
Yeah, that's not what we wanted to see, you know, with the sluggish start we had, and then Tyler Hero being our best offensive player, or, you know, as far as what he's producing and bringing to the table, you don't want to see him go out with a high ankle sprain and see him out for that long. Especially, you know, we got that play-in tournament too that's kind of going on in the middle of this, which I'm completely confused and lost on. I have no idea where we stand on. But Heat basketball is making me eat my words. You know what I mean? I know a couple of weeks ago I was asking you how confident you were in this unit, how confident you were in this team, and my confidence didn't really mirror your confidence. And after this 5-game run, you know, losing Tyler Hero and still being able to pull out some pretty good games, some pretty good dubs on the road, it's boosted up my confidence in this squad, to say the least.
No, I hear you. And like, it's weird with the in-season tournament because those games ultimately count towards your record, but you're playing for a tournament, right? So like, how does that work? But you still approach the game in the same way, right? And we saw them approach that game against Atlanta, which was one of those in-season tournament games, right, and really go out there and like just put up a good performance on the road, right? Where we've seen this Heat team struggle before, prior to the start of this season, even last year and the year before, where like they just have a hard time really getting going on the road for some reason. They're able to put together winning streaks at home, no problem, but on the road is different. And now, you know, when you talk about getting a tough and gritty win against Memphis, right? And I say that because, you look at Memphis's record and they're trash, right? But Memphis was trying to win their first home game when we played them in Memphis, right? And then, like, that's the game that Tyler got hurt in. So we lost them early on in that road trip, early on in that game, and we still had enough between Bam and Jimmy to really go out there and win the game. And then, like I mentioned earlier with the Atlanta game, you had to close out that fourth quarter because, we were ahead, but Atlanta made a run, and they made a very good and close run. But, again, the resiliency of the team in an effort to close down, right, and close out games shows that those guys are focused. And maybe they didn't have that same focus when they started the season, and it took a couple of wins, right? Like we saw them gain momentum after that Lakers win, and it felt like they were excited about that win because it was a big opponent, and it was their second victory in a row, and now they've built this winning streak, and it's like, wow, okay, maybe the Heat did find a way to kind of put it together early in the season.
And it's at the at the expense of, and I don't want to say the expense, but it's all due to the fact that, like always,
we'll say in the absence.
No, I wouldn't say in the absence. I'm just gonna say, like, it's due to the fact that we've had this happen time and time again in the last couple of years, bro. It's the unlikely heroes. It's the guys that we're not really looking to be the main factors, and that are stepping up and contributing, man. You got Duncan Robinson stepping up and contributing, picking up right after Tyler Hero goes down. You got guys like Jay Rich, former Heat, now back on the team, putting up some big, minutes for us and having some big plays. The rookie, Jaime Jaquez. I mean, I'm loving what I'm seeing out of this kid night in and night out. And these are the guys, man, that are really willing us to get these wins on the road, I think.
Well, Jay Rich just started playing well because he had been horrendous from the field. And I get it. He's taking shots and he's taking the time and the unnecessary pressure he's putting it on himself right in those moments. But he hadn't been playing that great. Duncan, right, a guy that you mentioned, yeah, he's been playing well for us, but he also has the price tag that carries that expectation. So yeah, it's nice to see Duncan playing well, and I don't think that I don't want to say that he's not an unlikely hero, right? Because he has those huge games every now and then he'll give you those good, consistent performances. But you're right in the sense that he's one of those guys that we can rely on off the bench, right? And that other guy that you mentioned, Jaime Jaquez, wow, we talked about his maturity, Joel, when we drafted him and when we saw that he was a 4-year player at UCLA, and we know that he had a lot of experience as a basketball player. But this kid really plays with an educated mind multiplied by hustle, because that's how he scores a lot of his plays, right? I posted that sick crossover he had in the Memphis game where he knocked out, crossed over Buddy, and then he hit that fucking three-pointer and drained it. Like, those are things that athletic players do, ballers, quote unquote, right? To put it in reference. Yeah. And that kid is showing that.
In the Lakers game, he clamped down LeBron.
Yeah. I wouldn't say clamped him down, but you're going up against one of the greatest basketball players of all time.
You held it down.
And holding your own. Your own. The guy didn't put up 40 on you. Right. LeBron ends up with 30-something points at the end of the game. Hey, he's LeBron James. It's going to happen.
He's going to do it.
But you did your part in your minutes with your defensive responsibilities.
Yep.
And that's the guy that I think we weren't really expecting to shine. We thought it was going to be Jovic, but it's been Jaquez who's really taking that role, dog, and taking those minutes and running with it. And it's evident that Spo trusts him, because he wouldn't put him so early in the game rotationally with other players and finding different combinations to play him if he didn't really trust him.
What I was going to ask you was, you just mentioned Jovic. That was a topic of contention that we had. I was expecting more from Jaime. I wasn't really expecting more from Jovic. A lot of people were expecting stuff from Jovic going in this year. Haven't seen really anything from the kid. Do you know why?
I think it's because he's still a bigger defensive liability. And I don't know if it's that they're still waiting to bring him in later on in the season. But with Hero being out, Highsmith has really played well. And that's a guy who's doing a good job of aiding Bam on the floor, in the sense of now he's a really good defender for the pick and roll. So in case they're picking and roll with the big guy, Highsmith can cover that guy for 2 to 3 seconds in case Bam has to come back, or while that guy passes the ball to get better positioning. Does he have a role on this team? Yes. I just don't think that it's been so evident in his need that he's gotten the ability to play those minutes. And Spo knows, man. He sees them practicing. He sees the development of these guys. It's not like he's not making a, misinformed decision when it comes to who's playing and who's not playing. If anything, is super informed and probably too much informed.
Yeah, I was just thinking about, what we saw in the summer from him and stuff, and the world, the world play and all that. And there's a lot of hype. It's early on in the season. You would think if there's a time to get experimental and really play everybody that you have, we're seeing pretty much everybody else hitting the floor. Maybe not every single night, but we're seeing other guys get minutes right now, especially in the absence of Tyler Hero and stuff. It's just curious as to why we haven't seen much of him. But
I mean, but the proof is in the pudding, Joel, because I think like when you see what Thomas Bryant has provided for us, right? Even though Serge hates that guy, I am a big fan of Thomas Bryant because yeah, he's not a big lockdown defender like you would want a center to be. But guess what? He does everything else and he hustles. He tries his best on defense. Sometimes he gets blocked. Sometimes he's averaging about 5.5 rebounds a game. So like he's doing his job. And as a big guy next to Bam, that's all we wanted. An athletic big who can move around and not necessarily be a super minus. Yeah, teams are going to go after him, but guess what? That means that Bam and everybody else who's around him knows that, and they're probably going to do a better job of helping him on that defensive end.
Yeah, I'm liking the combination of both him and Bam, or Highsmith and Bam. You know, they're doing their job, like you're saying. That's exactly what we need from an undersized big group like we have.
Right. And look, I kind of was against it with Jimmy getting these rest games in between, but it's worked out, right? The Heat have won games where he sat against Memphis and against Atlanta. I don't think he played as well, but we're winning games when we need to win games, and we're beating opponents that we should be beating. When you look at the record of the teams that we've beaten, yeah, they're not necessarily great records, but so what, dog? These are games that we have on our schedule, and we need to win no matter what, because we're not necessarily a powerhouse team or a team that's loaded with offense. You know what I mean? And I really like the Spurs win the most out of the 5 wins. We beat Washington, not really a good team. You beat the Lakers, that's a good team. Memphis, not necessarily a good team. Atlanta, not necessarily a good team. San Antonio, not necessarily a good team. But if you're a good team and you think you are a good team, you beat those teams. And that's all the Heat have done. And if you're a Heat fan, you got to be happy with that. And I mentioned the Spurs game because not only are we undersized, Spurs are obviously way bigger than us. That guy, they have that guy, I don't know if you ever heard of him. His name is Victor Wembanyama. He's just started to play basketball. He's from Planet Mars.
That guy, yeah.
He's pretty good. He
got a double that game. Shout out to the Hard Rock app. That was one of the easiest locks I've ever fucking bet on in my life. That was an easy one. I wanted to bet, you know, the Heat and everything, but that was a boosted bet that they have, and I'm like, bro, this guy's bound to just, you know, sneeze and get 12 rebounds and 10 points.
We're doing smart money bets only on this show, dog. We're not getting wild with it. And we got a smart money bet for you guys later on the program. Trust us.
But yeah, that was a good win, man. That was another game right there. You know, I talked about it earlier in the show, the unlikely heroes. And I guess because of the recency bias, that was the last game that we played that's still fresh on my mind. You know, Jay Rich, who has been struggling, to your point, had a big impact that game. And to me, that's everything, because that tells me everything I need to know moving forward. He had a couple big shots down the stretch that really helped us, lock that dub in. Duncan Robinson, crazy stat line for him. I think probably his best stat line of the year. He had like 26 points in this game. I don't know his stat off the top of my head for 3-pointer.
6 of 6 from well, he was 6 of 10, I think, from 3, and 6 of 6 from free throw, which is just crazy as far as efficiency goes in the limited amount of minutes that he's playing with.
And he had a great highlight where he cooked up Victor Wembanyama, you know, showed him one way, out to the corner. Nope, came right back in, drove it to the rim, finished strong at the rim. And then the last guy is Jaquez. Jaquez also had a good game in that game for us too. I don't want to shadow Bam. Bam did his thing. He had a great game. But those guys, man, those unlikely heroes are really the ones that are doing their thing to, you know, help us get these road wins. I mean, you're talking about this was another win on the road. Granted, Spurs aren't the best team, but we got to get those dubs early and often.
Yeah, no, and Joel, like, this is the NBA, dog. Like, no road game is easy. It doesn't matter if you're playing a team that's lost 7 games in a row. Guess what? That team is dying to kick somebody's ass, and you're up next. You know what I mean? So, like, it's never easy. And for our team to be able to accomplish that so early in the season really bodes well for them as far as obviously as momentum goes, but for me, more importantly, confidence in the guys that are getting the rotation in minutes, confidence in Duncan, confidence in Jaquez, confidence in Drew Smith, right? A guy we haven't talked too much about, but who's contributing something, right? Thomas Bryant, Highsmith, all of those guys are building the confidence to keep playing at the level that they're playing now. And that's what the Heat need. The Heat need their bench, which is their probably best asset, right? The fact that they have such a deep and flexible bench is like unlike match in the NBA right now. And they have to continue to exploit that night in, night out. So that means that one of 2 or 3 of these guys are going to have to do their job, not necessarily be an unlikely hero, but be the guy who has to step up that night. We're going to have to find a different name for these guys because
I think so. I think that's what it is.
I think that they can be relied on.
Term. Yep.
Yeah, because I think they can be relied on. You know what I mean? It's not like we're just being super surprised by the good game from a Jaquez every now and then, the good game from a Duncan or Drew Smith. You know what I mean? Something like that.
We got to table that. We got to brainstorm some new, coin a new phrase for these guys. Let's do it.
We'll put a pin in it. We'll put a pin in it, dog. And we'll come up with something, dog. But to wrap up on the Heat, man, I'm really happy that they have this stretch. I know that they have a tough home game, another tough road game in Charlotte before coming back home to take on Brooklyn on Thursday. If they can win that game at Charlotte, you're talking about 6 games with a potential for 7 coming home to, again, not necessarily face a great Brooklyn Nets team, but the fact that you're at home, you don't really get these games that often. You really want to make them count and make it happen. Get to 7 on the road. I don't even want to talk about what position they are in the conference or the division or that, because to me, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'd rather them focus on them playing really good basketball, and that's all that matters.
Have we played Charlotte already this year? I know it's a short season, but I feel like maybe it was a preseason where we played them.
Double check for me. I do know that the rest of the leg that we go to Chicago, which is where we play a back-to-back road schedule games against Chicago, literally Saturday and Monday. So not really too much of a travel expense there, I guess, for the NBA and the Heat. But 2 tough games in Chicago as well after being home. So
it was preseason that we played them and we beat them.
There you go. So this is going to be the first matchup. It's going to be, and now they're healthy. They're fully healthy. So going to be a good measuring stick against Charlotte and see where we're at. Right, mentally, can we continue this streak? Can we continue to play good basketball? Can we continue to close out quarters and not have dumb turnovers? That's one thing that I've noticed really well that we've been doing in this fourth quarter, man. Let's see if he can keep it up.
Oh yeah,
Pizza Mañana, baby, has been in effect.
Keep it rolling. Keep it rolling.
I hope you guys have been paying attention to the Instagram stories. That's how I let you guys know that we got that Pizza Mañana. Tune in, all right? Tune in. Can't say your boy Sosa ain't tell you so. Let's talk about the Panthers, dog. That's
Cardiac
another
Cats.
team. The Cardiac Cats, dog, and earning that fucking nickname. Let me tell you, bro, because those guys have really been, I don't want to say underperforming, but they've been underwhelming, right? They've been underwhelming with the results, and for them to, rip off 4 straight victories, and them being close victories, except for one when we won 5-2, like. That's impressive. That's impressive for the Florida Panthers right now.
Tale of 2 episodes, dog. Last week we were, bitching and moaning about, how lackluster they were looking, and Kachuk slow start, and Reinhardt, doing great, but not, we're not getting enough from everybody else. And fast forward to now a week later, and we got a few really nice victories to our name, including an overtime win in this stretch.
Yeah, but even still, I think that last year, Joel, we didn't really see this team put together too many streaks, right? Like they were win a game, lose 2 games, and then win 2 games, and then lose a game and win a game. Like it was never nothing where they were putting streaks together. They put a lot of losing streaks together, right? And we didn't see too many winning streaks. And now to see them doing that, like their counterparts, the Miami Heat, putting a win streak together, which is tough because they've been on the road, at home, on the road, at home, and it's like finding ways to win. Right, they had a huge comeback win against the Columbus Blue Jackets here at home. That when we were recording, that was the overtime victory you were talking about. They won 5-4. It only Verhage with the game winner there after
like
Nick
15
Cousins.
seconds in or something like that, bro.
No, that was the other game. The next game against Washington in Washington.
Oh,
right?
That's the one I'm thinking about.
Where we had another game, right, where we go deep into the game, and it was like another overtime game. The Panthers come all the way back, and then boom, overtime. Sam Reinhart, 15 seconds, says, "Good night, Washington. We'll see you guys next time."
So we had 2 back-to-back overtime victories.
Yes, sir, bro. I'm telling you. And then we had that real good victory against Carolina where you could tell the boys were motivated. This was a playoff rematch, right, against the Carolina Hurricanes, which we smacked up in the playoffs. A lot of the NHL pundits picked Carolina, couldn't understand what was happening, how the Panthers were playing that much better, and what was our advantage. The Panthers took that shit personal, and I feel like every time we play the Hurricanes, it's about that beef. You know what I mean? So they went out there and smacked them up 5-2, and that was a dominating win, after being taking the lead in the second period. They never looked back. And that was a real good game because all three of our big guys got goals. Kachuk, Barkov, and Verhaeghe were able to find the net.
Yeah, we put those bastards in their place because everybody knows there's only one Hurricanes team that matters in this country.
That's right. I don't even know. Carolina really don't even get that many Hurricanes. But
could it be anything else, dog? I mean, come on. What are we talking about?
Be a Mountaineer or something, dog. Get out of here, dog.
Get out. Hurricane, dog. You might be a tropical storm. You ain't no hurricane.
But that was 3 straight victories, and then you go
against tough opponents.
Tough opponents, and then you have that revenge game against the Chicago Blackhawks, who have their star rookie center, and Panthers again get it done. That they come back after being down yet again. Sam Reinhart really being a catalyst and then probably being the MVP for this team. We've talking about him so much on the program and how much of an impact he's had on this team since coming in and not only supplying goals, supplying assists, supplying whatever the team needs, right? On whatever line. Sometimes he's on the first line, sometimes he's on the second shift. Like, it doesn't matter where you put Sam Reinhart or who's on the ice. He's going to do his best to get the rest of his guys on that same level where it's like we have that confidence, we have that belief, we can play with anybody. He had 2 goals, 2 assists in that game, and Verhaeghe had the game winner. Again, another score for him, back-to-back games, 3 goals for him in those 4 games. Like, just playing Panthers hockey and really exemplifying what this team has as far as talent, because that's something different that they have that the Heat don't have. The Panthers have a fucking shitload of talent, shitload of talent when it comes to defensive players, offensive players, guys who are glue guys who can put up 30 goals a season, guys who can play multiple positions. You know what I mean? Like, this team is loaded, right? And it's really built for this playoff run, Stanley Cup run like we saw last year. Now these guys know that they really have what it takes. The chemistry's back. Their players are back. Their leaders are back. Montour, that we talked about him coming back last week, he's been great and getting big. More acclimated to ice. Yeah, that was huge, man. And those 4 straight games have really propelled the Panthers to another level of hockey that we've seen them accomplish before. And it's a great sight to see, man. They need it. They needed it.
Sure, we need it, dog. We need to make sure that our teams are all winning. That's the teams that we know and love. And it seems like for some reason, this Heat team and this Panthers team, they just seem to be rocking with each other, dog. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, bro, like whatever one of them does, it's kind of like the other one's like, hold my beer, watch this. I'm going to just kind of mirror that exactly. We saw it last year, both making it to their respective championship game as an 8 seed. The year prior to that, they had a better season. He had a better season the year prior to that as well. I mean, it's getting eerie, the comparisons that we keep seeing from these teams.
They're almost like brothers, right? They're literally almost like brothers, but they're separated by 18 months. It ain't a lot. You know what I mean? It's only like that much. And they're both getting into fights with the same crowd. It's like
Irish twins.
They all do the same shit. The Irish twins, dog, for sure. They do the same exact shit. And hopefully they keep it up because I really want to see this Panthers team dominate this season. You know what I mean? Like, I don't mean points, but just go out there and beat teams up. Show teams that they're not going to get easy victories and no lead is safe. If they can do that, the Cardiac Cats are going to be a problem for the rest of the season, dog. And I really think that they haven't even gotten close to their ceiling for as far as what I expect this team to be. And that's crazy, And yeah, I'm not a hardcore Panthers fan. I get it. You guys are the hardcore Panthers fans, but I really do watch this team a lot, and I am invested in their future, bro, because I really want to see this team win a fucking
We all do, man. Bro. We all do. We're itching. We're not a big hockey town, but those that hold down the 305, the 954, the 561, we know we need it, dog. Don't forget the 786 in there too. But we need it, dog. You know what I mean? We need a hockey championship just to be like, you know what, dog? We don't even got ice down here, homie. You don't even snow down here, homie. And we still run the ice.
We win. That's what we do. We win down here, dog. You know what I mean? That's what we need to stamp in hockey. We're winners down here. Boom, got to stamp it. They got 3 straight road games, continuing the trend. Facing San Jose on Tuesday. By the time you guys are hearing this, and then staying in LA, staying in California, staying in LA to face the Kings and the Anaheim Ducks on Friday before coming back home on Monday against Edmonton. So 3 games in the state of California. Got to get those 3 victories. Make it 7 in a row to match their big brothers, the Heat. You know what I mean? Let's keep the twin things going here. Let's
do
keep the
you
twin
know how
things
any
going.
of those teams are doing right now? Any the Kings, the Sharks, or the Ducks? Because
I don't
they haven't
focus on
really
the
been
odds,
doing well in the last couple of years. So I don't think that they're really.
San Jose is good. I know that for sure. Los Angeles is obviously good. They were in the playoffs last year. Anaheim, I don't know nothing about Anaheim this year. I just know that they unveiled a cool version of their Anaheim Ducks throwbacks with the Mighty Ducks thing. So that was cool. That's about it, dog.
I think that if we even go like 2-1, you know what I mean? I think that's still really admirable. Yeah.
They're on the same tip, literally. A shit ton of road games in November and early December. So if you want to prove yourself, this is how you do it. You go and you get big victories on the road, and you do it against good teams when it's good, and you do it against bad teams when it's ugly too. But you got to get the dubs, and that's what the Panthers are out there to achieve. So let's get it.
Vamos, gatos.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now we got to talk about the hard part. All right. And I'd rather start with the hard part before we get to the good part to finish the show.
Yeah.
We're going
to. It's a tough one. This is a tough one.
This is a tough game because I didn't expect us to win it. Right. And the fact that the Hurricanes were in this game, the whole game, shows me that there really is a fight in this team. There really is a core of players that want to win and care. And that's all you need. Because if you have that, you get gutsy-ass performances like you did on Saturday. Because that's what the Kings had. They had a gutsy-ass performance. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't a great offensive showcase. It wasn't, Emery Williams lighting up the scoreboard. No, it wasn't that. But what you did see is a lot of good defense from a real squad of defense that has a lot of talent on it. And they were able to keep it close the whole game. And Emery did more than enough to keep the Hurricanes in it and with a chance to win it. So I'm really proud of how those guys fought in Tallahassee. Still coming up short, 27-20 against the FSU Seminoles, but I'm really proud of how they played, man. They showed a lot of courage.
Against a number 4 ranked opponent, in-state rival like this, it could have gotten ugly. It could have been a 47-7 massacre, something along those lines.
Starting, dog.
But let's get into that right quick, because last week on the last week's episode, I think we talked about that. And I think I had asked you, in this game going into FSU, seeing what we saw out of Emery Williams, and seeing what we've been seeing out of Tyler Van Dyke and his regression, do you really feel comfortable going with TVD into that game or Emery Williams? And I don't know when this got announced, but I only found out about it like on Friday, like the day before the game that Emery was starting. I don't know if that's when the general public found out or when that announcement was made.
Yeah, they announced it on Twitter, and they had a little press release, that Emery was going to start the game for the Hurricanes on Saturday. But so
that's concerning. I mean,
I don't know. Is it concerning, or is it a good sign that Emery Williams, A, has good enough of a knowledge of the offense, right? And B, that the offensive coordinator, Shannon Dawson, also has a good amount of confidence in Emery to execute the offense. Because one thing is clear, Tyler Van Dyke does not have, he doesn't possess the confidence to execute the offense at the moment.
So my thing is, the concerning part for me is, why was that waited until the day before to announce? I understand it could have been a game plan thing. Baby. They're going to game plan for TVD and not for Emery Williams or whatnot. But it's like, after seeing what you've been seeing, I mean, as a Hurricanes fan watching these games this year, bro, the moment that Emery got off the field, the last game that he played, he should have been handed and rewarded the keys to that car.
No. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that, because then you're setting them up. As a hardcore Hurricanes fan, I'm totally against the idea of showing the opposition, your biggest rival, your biggest game of the season, any inclination of what you're going to do. So I have no problem with them not announcing Emery Williams until they could have waited till 3 seconds before the game started, before they announced that. Anything to throw the rival off and give him a chance, because it did give him a chance and it worked in his favor. He didn't have the hype. He didn't have the yips. He wasn't nervous at all at any point in the game. Like, he didn't show that. He didn't have a nervous throw. He was very composed. And
he played a very good game all the way up until he got hurt.
All things considered, Doc, for the limited playbook and what he's being asked to do, they did a great job of putting something together for him to execute, and he did a great job of executing it to the best of his abilities. under all circumstances considered. You know what I mean? And even still, another credit to OC Shannon Johnson, bro. He called a great game. He really called a great game. Really mixed in the runs and got the run going a little bit, and then gave him easy throws over the top to complete. And when he had a chance, he took the chance, and Emory wasn't scared to take the chance. He connected with Jacoby George for 85-yard running catch, like catch and run, excuse me, for a touchdown. That shows a lot of guts on that kid's part to say, you know what, I need to put it in that little bread basket. Watch this on the road, you 65,000 screaming FSU fans. I'm going to show you guys up for a quick play. And he nailed it, dog. So he did everything that he could do and gave us the best opportunity to win the game, dog. And I'm not mad at the coach's decision to keep him, protected as long as you could. And then once they did announce him, he felt the confidence behind the coaching staff, and obviously all the players had his back, and they played like a dog. For Jacoby George to have 5 catches, 153 yards, and 2 touchdowns on the road, that's him stamping himself on the national stage to say, yeah, I'm a big-time wide receiver in a big-time game. And even with a rookie quarterback that I got a lot of belief in, we're going to come out here against all odds and put on a show. And they were going down FSU, down 7, dog, driving on FSU with about 4 minutes left in the game, dog.
Well, even back it up behind that. They were down 2 scores and managed to score late, in that fourth quarter to bring it within a touchdown. And it was like, where has this been all year? It felt like in that moment, it's like, oh shit, like this team is a team that can compete, that's not necessarily out of it if they're down late 2 scores. They came back, they had that, and then they were driving. And frankly, I think if Emory Williams doesn't get hurt, I think that they have a chance of at least tying up that game and taking it to.
I think we tie that game, my dog. And you asked the question, when did we see this? Why didn't we see this sooner? We kind of saw it in the Clemson game, right? Where he had to come in, TVD got hurt or was mentally frail, whatever the excuse was that game. And Emory Williams came in and literally drove us to the victory. Against Clemson. And he would have drove us to the tie. I honestly believe that 100% in my heart, dog, because he was playing such a great game.
I guess that's why I brought up the concerning.
But let me answer your question with this. Like, if you're asking why we haven't seen this before, I think we have been seeing it all season. What we've been seeing is Tyler Van Dyke's inability to make the throw or to make the play. And Emory's just showing you what it looks like when the guy who has to make the throw does make the throw. You know what I mean?
But that's why I was alluding to being concerned, because you just pointed it out. He played in Clemson, had a great game. We won in Death Valley, right, on the road.
Yeah.
The next week, if I'm not mistaken, we plug and play Tyler Van Dyke.
Yeah, it was the NC State game. But Joel,
and then we lose that game. We come back now. We have FSU game, and then you wait till the day right before to give Emory. Bro, if Emory plays that NC State game, who knows what happens there? And he gets a little bit more confidence and momentum going into the game. That was what I was thinking when I said, isn't that a little concerning that it was announced so late? But kid's hurt now. I think his season's done.
Yeah, his season's done. He ended up hurting his arm on that play, left the game in an air cast, had to get Carter off the flat. Yeah, that dude was in pain. You could tell, dog. And I just felt so bad for him and his parents, right? Because they were obviously enjoying the hell of a game that their son was putting on. And I think every Hurricanes fan was really happy with his performance, dog, because he had put on an amazing performance, dog. It was such a great game by the kid. And on the road.
True freshman. True freshman, man. Can't state that enough, bro.
Oh, bro. No. Like, again, it's not easy to do that. And the kid really showed his heart. But then again, he comes out the game with 2:48 left, and here comes Tyler Van Dyke, and he completes 2 passes for 29 yards, one 15-yarder, one 14-yarder, and the Hurricane fan kind of thinks that something's going to happen here and looks at that moment like, oh, shit, this could be the one. And then he turns into Tyler Van Dyke, and all the fucking shit that could go wrong goes wrong. Incomplete pass, 4th and 10. Here comes the interception from Tyler Van Dyke. Game's over. That's the shit that kills me, dog. This kid, for whatever, or this grown man, for whatever reason, dog, cannot put it together mentally, cannot put it together for more than 5 minutes at a time. And it is one of the world's greatest mysteries as to why he can't do it, dog. There is no reason for it. I don't know what there is. There is no reason for it, dog. Like,
I'm
he just
baffled,
doesn't
bro.
have it.
At the beginning of the year, we were talking about his potential to go on, make a name for himself this season, and really put himself in that, first round draft pick conversation. Brother, you'd be lucky if Canada hits you up for the CFL spot, bro, at this point, because he's not playing in the NFL. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, he definitely played himself out of that, man. And it sucks because it's such a waste of talent. And who knows what the future has in store for him. But right now, at the moment, it's not looking good for Tyler Van Dyke. Like you said, Emory Williams is hurt. He's going to be hurt until next season, where he gets another chance to win the starting QB job. So we're going to see TVD play these last 2 games out. And it doesn't get any easier for him either, right? He has a tough opponent against Louisville. They're going to be playing them here at home, last home game of the season. Just in case you're wondering, Louisville is ranked number 11 in the nation, currently 9-1 overall, 6-1 in the ACC, fighting for their spot in the ACC title game. So don't expect a weak or non-focused Louisville team to come in here. This is a team that we've historically struggled against because they always have a good run of talent. Lamar Jackson's gone there and a bunch of other NFL players. So, yeah, it's not surprising that Louisville is still playing well. They're going to come in here and give the Hurricanes all their best. And I don't know if we'll have enough to match their energy. And I don't know if we'll have the confidence behind TVD. Maybe it turns into a crazy game for him and he blows up again and he wakes up and throws for 386 yards. Who knows? Could be, but it'll
be a day late and $1 short.
But I'm not holding my breath for that performance. I'm definitely expecting the Canes to keep it close because I really do think that they have an excellent defense. Maybe top 25 worthy defense, right? Top 10, maybe even. And just excited what they got more to build on for next year between Flag, Bain, Kitchens. If he comes back next year, like there's a lot of talent there. There's a lot of talent on that defense, and I'm excited to see what the future holds for it, man. And then after that Louisville game, they end the season up in Boston against Boston College, who's 6-4 on the season, 3-3 in the ACC. So currently have a better record than the Hurricanes, who are 2-4 in the ACC. So let's see what the Hurricanes can do in these last 2 games and how they end the season. And let's see how Tyler Van Dyke looks. I guess that's the only thing we really got to look forward to, man. Let's see.
Don't hold your breath.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. But before we leave college football, my friend, please show the people of the nation, this beautiful nation, that sweater of the UCF Golden Knights.
Hey, we're not no longer the Golden Knights. We're just the Knights. We dropped that years ago. But yeah, man, I had to throw it on. I had to throw it on, dog. They had a pretty good win this past weekend. I mean, they're 5-5 on the year, 2-5 in conference play, so it's not great. But they knocked off a ranked opponent this past weekend in Oklahoma State, who was 24th. Already put an ass whooping on them, 45-3. So just wanted to make sure they got their salute.
Here's a salute that I got for them. It's a middle finger because they messed up my 17 parlay on the Hard Rock app. Literally, I had 7 teams, and that's the one team that didn't cover, dog. And when I'm looking at the score with my dog,
Oklahoma State or UCF?
Oklahoma State. I'm like, dog, how the hell is Oklahoma State getting murked at the crib?
How you gonna bet against your co-host team, dog?
The spread was favorable.
It's like me betting like FSU this past weekend. I know that I should have, but I would never do it in respect for you. God, come on, man. We're gonna have a conversation.
Of course you would.
Come on.
Of course you would. Of course you would. Now that the Hard Rock app is giving these great odds, come on, man.
I'll never bet on FSU.
No, maybe not FSU. Maybe the over or under. Now let's get back to positive things, right? To wrap up the show, let's talk about our Miami Dolphins. Currently still 6-3 on the season, 7-3 on the season.
6-3.
6-3. About to be 7-3 after coming back on the bye and taking on a tough and motivated Raiders team. I really love the timing of the Dolphins bye week, bro. I don't know about you, dog. For me, it was an important time for the bye week, not in the sense of injuries, right? Even though Devon Achane was back at practice and he's going to be ready to go against the Raiders, assuming that happens after a good week of practice. I just felt like it came in the middle of the season. We kind of had a little guys with a couple of nagging injuries, Waddle more specifically, more than others, where you kind of wanted to give him a week off and get him back into a healthy state, work everybody back, assess what happened in the first half of the season, really take a good look at the view from a step back or 2 steps back and say, all right, what's worked, what hasn't worked, What are the good things in the macro? What are the good things in the micro? What's the negative things that we can point to? And just really work on that, and while giving the players some time off. I think that we're gonna see for the second half of the season is a very refreshed Dolphins roster. And I'm very motivated and ready to go because they know it's the second half of the season. Everybody's back. We're all healthy. Time to go out there and win football games. And it starts with week 11 against the Raiders, right?
Yep. And the Raiders are, they found some new momentum. They fired McDaniels a couple weeks ago. They got back-to-back wins now. Granted, it was an ugly-ass win that they got last night, 2 nights ago against the Jets. But they did their job against one of our division opponents, which helps us out. We know that the Patriots are are not relevant this season. But it was an interesting week around the NFL for the Dolphins because of the fact that other AFC opponents, lost. You had the Ravens losing at home against the Browns.
Cincinnati.
You had Cincinnati losing on the road against Houston. So now things are getting interesting, and we're really in control of our own destiny here. So I can't agree with you more, man. This seems to be the perfect timing for a bye week for this Miami Dolphins team. Now we come back out of the bye, revamp, re-energize, healthy, ready to go, eyes on the prize. We got to get the monkey off our back. The Raiders are not one of those teams that are going to get the monkey off our back, but we expect a victory.
Yeah, for sure. You expect a victory, but I think the guy who needed this bye week the most, if I'm honest with you, Joel, dog, is Mike McDaniel, dog. And I don't say that in like a slight to Mike McDaniel, like, oh, you got to get your shit together. No, that's not what I mean. But I think that he really needed this time to refocus and see what works on offense. Because in those big games that we're going to be facing as the end of the season comes, right, we're going to have to find ways to generate the offense if it's not happening. If it's happening in the game and we have that momentum, cool, then we got nothing to worry about. But just in case it's not happening, how do you get it sparked up? What type of plays are you going to call? What are the formations? Are you going to rely on the motion? Are you going to go big set? Are we going running game? What's going to be the move? And it can't be on a game-by-game basis. What you're going to try to have to do now in this second half of the season is reestablish that identity, which I believe to be is a run first, throw second team. Not necessarily that we're not offensively firepowered, because we are, and that our biggest offensive weapons are on the outside, because they are, but we also have the running game as an offensive fire, big play type weapon, right? We know that Devon Achane has had long touchdown runs for the Dolphins, right? We know that Mostert has broken 30, 40-yard runs for touchdowns. So this offense is built off explosivity, both running it and catching it and throwing it. So that's what I think McDaniel had to lock down in his bye week. How are we going to attack the rest of the season? Go look at what those teams that we're going to face in the next 3 to 4 weeks. See what they're doing right now. How are they stopping other teams? What can we do to exploit that? Because I feel like teams did that facing us. They went back and looked at all the game tape of those first 4 weeks and said, well, let's make it harder. And the Dolphins offense had to struggle a little bit because it got a little bit harder because teams knew what we were doing. But with Achane coming back, Mostert and him being able to split the carries, give each other rest, throwing in Jeff Wilson Jr. in there, Ahmed in there, who's been playing really good coming out the backfield, chipping the rushers and getting out for catches. Like, that's what I want to see us get back to. And I think that's what Mike McDaniel really used in his bye week.
You talked about our identity being, a run first, pass second. I don't think that we've seen that, this year. We wanted to be that.
Almost every game we've started off with a run and have ran 2 to 3 running plays out of the 5 plays.
Yeah, that's all fine and dandy, but when you look at the actual splits, it's like 2 to 1, or 3 to 1 as far as how much more we're passing it. Okay. And I think that the identity that we have is really, comes down to one word: speed. That is our offensive identity, is speed. The speed of our players on the outside, the speed of our running backs being able to exploit the gaps, that they're given and getting, through them, and the speed and quickness of Tua getting the ball out of his hand. If we can do that, we can do all those things well. They add up for, to wins for us. But we definitely want to see more of that run, especially knowing that we have guys that are that fast. It's like, why aren't we having more of a balanced attack? And I really hope that that's what McDaniel gets, out of this bye week. And if he is going, to the drawing board and seeing where he can improve. I mean, I'm not a coach, obviously. I don't know what the hell's going on in the NFL, but just from the eye test, why not run the ball more? We saw it in that last game against Kansas City. We harped on it. They ran the ball, got the ball down the field with Raheem Mostert, like 70 yards, 65 yards, something like that, back-to-back plays, and then went away from the run. 3 consecutive passes, and we saw what happened. So it's like, why are we getting away from the stuff that's helping us move down the field, and trying to get too cute? That's what I want McDaniels to do. It's like, I love the balls he calls on 4th down. I love the trickery. I love the trick plays. I love the way that he uses Tyreek and Waddle and runarounds and end rounds and things like that. But let's not get too cute with it when the game is on the line.
Right.
Let's go back to ground and pound football, and let's use that speed.
And if you think about it, Joel, that's like what kind of killed us in the big games, right? Which is probably the games that he's going to study the most. What happened here? What did we lack in? Damn, we didn't go to the run enough in the second half. In the first half, we didn't go to the run enough, and it made this play harder. It would have opened up this play that I wanted to call. We could have done, and those are the things that I think he's going to realize that he has to do moving forward for the rest of the second half of the season to get big victories. Not only on the road, but also at home, because we're going to have some tough home games as well. Right now, we're still undefeated at home. We get a chance to continue that streak against the Raiders, right? We're looking good in that aspect. But at some point, we're going to face a big team. And at that point, we're going to need to run the ball. And we're going to need to be a physical team. Not only a speed team, but a physical team in order to create the lanes for the speed to be there, right? Whether it's passing lanes or running lanes. And I think that our offensive line has a big part to play in that. I think that the return of Rob Hunt and Robert Jones to practice is huge. Both of those guys are still week to week, but just the fact that they're there right now, it gives you the option of saying, Konya, I have 8 offensive linemen, and all of them have done really good jobs at certain points in the season. What's my best 5? And go from there. Who do I need to throw in as a backup or 6 man in case shit gets ugly? And go from there. And just, I really love having that option of having all of our guys as healthy as possible, whether it's 80 to 90% as an offensive unit for the offensive line, because it really just adds to our success value. We don't look at it that often during the game, but when the running game is going well, it's because the offensive line is really pushing that defensive line back, bro. And when they're doing that, man, our guys are feasting. And it makes the games easier. It makes the game easier for Tua to go out there and throw. It makes it easier for Waddle and Hill to find pockets, right? And let the offense flow, which is crazy because we're truly doing this type of offense without a real quote unquote tight end. If it wasn't for Alec Ingold and how amazing he's been as a fullback, pass catching, blocking fullback, I don't know what we would do, how this offense would look, right? Because we don't have a blocking tight end and a pass catching tight end all in one shot. I think
that the closest thing that we have to that is maybe Durham Smythe, but I think that
Alec Ingold does it better, dog, for sure.
Yeah, he does it, but I'm sorry, true tight end. Ingold's a fullback, so you can't. He's going to be more in the backfield. But as far as a true tight end goes, Durham Smythe, does his thing. But I mean, we're seeing that we don't need a guy like Mike Gesicki, man. I mean, Gesicki was great. Don't get me wrong. He produced for us, but honestly, the whole time it was like, why do we have this guy if he's not going to be able to block? Yeah, he's a pass catcher, but we got Waddle and we got Tyreek. What do we need Gesicki for? And I think ultimately that's why we moved on from him to a guy like Durham Smythe, who is doing, I think, perfectly fine at the tight end position for the Miami Dolphins.
Hell yeah. And again, it leads to the offense being more simple. The more simple the offense looks, quote unquote, the more variations of it you can have, the more audibles, the more plays you can run in it, and it's easier to trick the defense on it. So I think that was definitely a right move, and yeah, I think that's what's going to be the key. Getting back to figuring out that identity. You mentioned the 3-to-1 ratio. I think if we can bring that up to 3-to-2, right? That bodes really well for the offense. And I think that as fans, that's what we should be looking for. A little bit more of a commitment to the run as the season continues, right? We're going to get into cold weather games. We're going to get into tough games on the road, tough games at home. We're going to have to be a physical offensive line team, run it first. Let's try to get 3 yards in a cloud of dust. because we know that if we don't have that going, we can always go to the outside and our fast guys out there, man. Now, let's talk about the Miami Dolphins versus the Las Vegas Raiders. The spread is, let's see, I had it here, but it went away. And I want to use this as our betting platform for the week. This is the Joey lock of the week: Miami Dolphins versus the Las Vegas Raiders. Who you taking, buddy?
I mean, this is
obviously
this might be coming as a surprise, but I'm gonna go with the Miami Dolphins in this one. And I don't have the line.
It's 11 and a half. It's 11 and a half.
We're 11.5-point favorites.
With the underdog over-under being 47 and a half. 47 and a half. So you're taking the Dolphins. Are you taking the points?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not going to go money line. The odds on the spread are going to be better. But, yeah, I'm going to say, yeah, let's go with the Dolphins. Dolphins minus 11 and a half.
Okay.
Back at home after a bye week. The Raiders are really looking for, smacking the math because they're on their little high horse right now. I can't wait to see Devontae Adams get clamped up. Josh Jacobs, I can't wait to see him get negative yardage behind our D-line, who's going to have a huge day. I can't wait for our offense to, go to town on their defense. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go with that. I like that better than the over-under. So I'm going to say, yeah, the lock of the week is going to be the Dolphins minus 11 and a half.
I like that. I'm going to join you, but I'm going to throw in the under because I don't think that the Raiders are really going to be able to get it going offensively. Like they struggled to score against the Jets. I think our defense is as good or if not better than the Jets at this point, and we'll be able to pitch damn near close to a shutout. So I don't see them scoring too much where we might end up in the 28 to 31, 35 range of points.
Yeah, 31-10 is what I was thinking. I don't know why.
Right, so I'm going to take the Dolphins, I'm going to take the spread, and I'm going to take the under, and we're going to let you guys know how we do. We're going to post those picks for you guys. That's the Soso lock of the week and the Joey lock of the week here on Sports with Soso, man. I think I got one honorable mention. Yeah, I do. Look, F1 in Las Vegas. I don't know if you're a Formula One fan. If you guys have watched that on Netflix, it's a dope series, and the track itself is on the Strip, so it's going to be cool to see this on Sunday around 12:55 noon. You're going to be able to watch it on ESPN2. Tune into that. Everybody knows who's going to win the race. It's going to be Max Verstappen unless he crashes. But tune in to see who gets second and third and fourth and fifth place, man. And the views are going to be dope.
I'm just tuning in just to see that. I was there recently a couple weeks ago. I got to see the build out, just kind of the bare bones of it. I've been seeing it on social media. It's kind of all over the place right now because it was like $8,000 were like the rates for the tickets. And then like now it's like, they've plummeted to like hundreds of dollars where now it's actually feasible for you to go and watch the race. But I want to see it, the race at night on the Strip, Formula One cars, zooming by. That's going to be interesting. One other honorable mention though, I didn't see it in the notes, but UFC this past weekend, Pereira against Jiri Prochazka. He took down the victory, becoming the champion.
Yeah, man, and in impressive form too, because
very impressive.
He got him with some good low kicks to start the fight, which really hurt Jiri. And then Jiri couldn't really plan to throw those punches, even though he tried to throw a lot of punches at him. And then Alex just waited, and then boom, rocked him, dog. And once he rocked him, it was like, wrap. And some questions of stoppage. Was he out? Was he not out? And I know for a fact that when he had him in that guillotine choke, that Jiri had Alex's legs, and at some point the lock was so deep in that Jiri let go of both his legs and was hanging there. And even after the fight, he said it. I was out, and the referee did a good job. Yeah, I got back up and I came right back to because that's what we do as fighters. But I was out, and that was a good stoppage. So I love the honesty in the moment, and the respect between the two, both pre-fight, during fight, and post-fight. Like, I wouldn't be mad to watch those guys fight again, dog. And I think that Pereira versus Jamal Hill, who was the champion after Jiri, when Jiri got hurt, Jamal Hill won the championship. He got hurt, gave up the belt, and now these two guys fought for it. And Hill's going to be healthy in about 3 to 4 months, so it would be cool to see those guys go back at it. He did call out Adesanya to come up to light heavyweight. I don't know if Adesanya is, going to be taken in by that, man. Last time he went up there, it didn't go that well for him, dog.
It didn't. I highly
It takes a
doubt that's
while
going
to
to
build
happen.
that body up, dog. It takes a while to build
Yeah.
that body up. That's why John Jones, you know what I'm saying?
And
Like
he
it's a
doesn't have that
while.
natural build for it, you know, at least not
Yeah,
right now.
I
But
don't think
it's
so.
impressive, man. You know, the fact that this guy has only been in the UFC for 3
Yeah, bro.
fights, I
Yeah,
think total. I think that's what he's
no,
had, and
11 fights. 11 fights total, and then like he's gotten, I think, 3 to 4 championship fights. 4
and,
championship fights.
and he's won 3 of them, I think. So
Yeah.
he's doing pretty good. The guy's a
Doing
beast.
pretty good. He's pretty good. He's pretty good. That's why he's my new favorite Brazilian champ. So
Yeah, like,
shout out
gotta
to
love the
Alex.
headgear and all that tribal shit he comes out with too. Is pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Yeah, dog.
That shit's gangster,
Solid.
dog. That shit's gangster, dog.
Solid
But yeah,
celebration.
dog. Monday Night Football time, cuz. Let's get to it.
Oh, that's right, bro. The Bills.
Yeah,
we gotta watch the Bills. Hopefully lose
to the Denver Broncos. Let's go, Broncos.
Let's go, Broncos country. Let's ride.
Let's ride. And we're gonna ride out here by thanking you guys for subscribing to the Sports with Soso YouTube channel. We appreciate the love. We took the bye week on OnlyFans, but guess what? We're back to it on Sunday. We're coming after you guys after the victory. We're coming to you guys after the victory against the Raiders. So until next time,
Peace.